and gentlemen, Joel Silberman.
Si se puede. I'm honored to be here tonight. Thank you all very much. I don't have big hair to show you tonight. Those of you who were here last night remember. And I want to thank all of you who have sent me birthday greetings on Facebook and the fact that today is my 1-year wedding anniversary to Michael. So again, I have to say thank you, because it is the work that we have done as a community. You know, it was so natural for me to the Vice President to thank us for doing the work, because we did. And it was thrilling to hear him recognize that. When I started doing media training, those of you who know me from my media trainings, how many of you have been to my media trainings? My God, all those folks. I'm doing it again tomorrow at 11, shameless plug, in room 320, come on. But when I started doing media trainings, I started working with Marcos, and that was my beginning. And he introduced me to all of you, and I've been here since the very beginning. I was the one who was going to help us go from online to on air. And what has on air become? Take a look at this video from January from MSNBC.
I think at this point we should seriously consider not continuing
Congresswoman Harman, let me interrupt you. Congresswoman, let me interrupt you just for a moment. We've got some breaking news out of Miami. Stand by, if you will. Right now in Miami, Justin Bieber has been arrested on a number of charges. The judge is reading the charges, including resisting arrest and driving under the influence. He's appearing now before the judge for his bond hearing. Let's watch.
You all didn't watch that? You didn't see that on MSNBC? Okay, so that was in January. So I would have thought, because I got to talk to Andrea Mitchell about that, it obviously wasn't her idea. How did that happen? An executive producer was told we're cutting to Miami because it's on another network. And it goes called Follow the Money. One would have thought after that kind of press they would have gotten the message. But let's look at the second clip. This happened last Friday to Congressman Steve Israel.
Of exciting the Democratic base and independent voters who just don't want the Republican Congress to be suing another branch of the government.
And Congressman Israel will have more from you later in the show. I'm sorry, though, King James is making his decision known, and that bumps you out, but thank you so much for joining us. More on our breaking news. A report from Sports Illustrated that LeBron James is heading...
Thank you. We take away a congressman to report breaking news from Sports Illustrated. Is something wrong with the news? Okay. So I began to doubt my mission, and so I wanted to talk about what happened. What happened to the news? What happened to cable news? And how did this happen? Well, first of all, we have to figure out who advertises on cable news and on specifically the evening news. Because I'm a media trainer, I get to watch the evening news every night, so I know who the audience is for evening news. The audience is old. And how do we know that? Advertisers spend money to reach them. So my husband, against his will, watches an hour of the evening news. Our appetizers are Cialis and Ofina. That's right, if you have erectile dysfunction or post-menopausal dry vagina, you're watching the news. The main course is Symbicort and Crestor. So obviously, my name is Joel and I have COPD. And for dessert, we get the Tenatwist. Yeah, really. So in one meal, I can go from impotence to incontinence. So why do they spend money on evening news? Does it matter? Why? Think about it. They are reliable old voters. They go to establish a media narrative for reliable voters. How do we change that? So I came out because I wanted to say, how did that begin? 1971, there was something called the Powell Memo. How many of you heard about the Powell Memo? Yes, I'm at Netroots. Thank you. I can't tell you the crickets I've said, or seen when I've said that. In the Powell memo, for those of you who haven't seen it, he wrote, Lewis Powell, who was going to be appointed by Nixon to the Supreme Court, wrote a memo to the Chamber of Commerce saying the selling of the Pentagon was bad for business and we had to watch out for the media. We had to make it more business friendly. And then in 1977, when ABC News was in the tank, when they spent $1 million for Barbara Walters to do the evening news, and they were beyond third place, Roone Arledge became the head of ABC News and ABC Sports. Now, Roone Arledge is responsible for making ABC Wide World of Sports, so I say that's when news went from being news to the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. And that's pretty scary to me. So, this in mind, I want to say that you are now the media. You are now the champions. You don't need to think about cable news. You have more views than they do. Think about that. We said in 2006, Marcos told us one person could make a difference. My favorite quote of his is he said, all I did was build a website. It's now our turn to take back the media narrative. And I'm here to say we gotta get engaged, because this engagement that we have always been loud about, we need to spread. 75% of America is now center-left because of how badly the media narrative has been pulled to the right. 75% is center-left. We win if we show up. So our job is to be the media. And that's my big message to you, because I can't stand it anymore. I want us to stay engaged. I'm training people to be on Skype, to be on their cell phones, to speak authentically, be present every moment. But you make the difference. Your stories make the difference, not the media narrative. Because either we are at the table or we're on the menu. And I want to say to anybody who's young tonight, and that's most of you compared to me because I have a Medicare card, yes, it's true, no matter what about this meal of on the, at the table or on the menu, you, if you are young, will pay the bill. So let's get everybody to pay attention. We have an election. I believe we can win back the House. I don't believe the media narrative I hear. I believe the populist agenda. I believe what we are doing. I believe in progressive politics. I adore you and I thank you very much.